Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next session. Today, I'm very pleased to introduce Agnès Hassar, who is going to be talking about Sympa newsletters with Wagtail. Okay, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Hello, space people. So, not yet. Hello, everyone. Should I speak now? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and get
Yes.
started.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So, as Vince told you, I'm going to talk to you about newsletters and Wagtail with a tool named Sympa or Sympa when you speak Franglish like me. So, my name is Agnès. I'm working in a small agency named Hashbang, which is in Lyon, France. This is our lab Wagtail website on which we're doing experimentations before proposing them to our customers. And I wanted to show you that in Lyon, we are in Django Street. But that's not the topic of the talk. Today, I'm going to talk about newsletters. So first, I will show you the context in which I had to add newsletters in Wagtail. And then I will tell you the story of how I did it using the Wagtail newsletter package that was published earlier this year. So let's go with the context, which is deliberé. So this is another Wagtail website. We did not build it. We are maintaining it and making it evolve. So Délibéré is a journal of reflection on justice, law, rights, freedoms. It's written and edited by French magistrates, judges, and I wanted to show you the website because the content is structured around the issues in French en numéro. So in Franglish during this talk, sometimes I will say a number and it's an issue, in fact. So each issue has its own subject. Like here, it's about disabilities and justice, and how does justice work for people with disabilities. And every issue has its own color. So it gives the whole thing consistency, but every number has its own, every issue, I told you, I speak Franglish, every issue has its own identity in the whole graphic consistency. So in fact, I really like how it goes out. And this is the website for which the client asked me, they told us to, they wanted to send newsletters directly from their websites. And I will explain it to you why. So Delivery and the Wagtail website, the whole content is structured around issue. So I have my main content class in Wagtail is numéro for issue. And this client, like many French people, maybe like many people around the world, they are using Sympa or Sympa. It's an acronym for Système de multipostage automatique because it has been written by French people and French people love acronyms. So it's just a mailing list management software, which is licensed under GPL. So it's free software and it just works. It's quite common in French universities and in French internet. So I have seen quite a lot of Sympa server since I'm working in the industry. So it's just like a Google group, but without Google. So it does work. You just send a list to an email to a given list, and Sympa does the broadcasting according to a lot of configuration options. So Sympa is very powerful, but not for making beautiful emails. Sympa is just the server that sends email. It doesn't help you make beautiful emails. So because of the dark magic of email layout, our client asked for a way to write the newsletter directly from Wagtail. And at that time, I stumbled upon this blog article about the Wagtail newsletter package. And it was like a cosmic connection. So thank you, Alex, who's not here because he's giving a talk, just like I'm talking to you. So I've read this blog post with much attention, and I decided that this was the way I would do it. So just going a little bit faster. So how did I do this thing? In this package, you have to use a Wagtail newsletter package, you have to do two things. First, you have to decide which content of your website you will be using as a newsletter. And you have to use or create a backend to actually send the newsletter to the vendor. And I had to do the two things because the out-of-the-box backend wasn't what I wanted to use. So first, the newsletter mixin, which is the content of your website you will be using as a newsletter content. So in theory, you could extend any page model and tell the website, this page is your newsletter. I decided not to reuse an existing page of my website, but to create a new one, which led me to numéro newsletter, that is issue newsletter, because they send newsletters almost only to announce that a new issue has been published. So I created a new class, and I will show it to you right now in my IDE. So email newsletter. Here it is. So you extend the mixin newsletter page mixin, and I added some info. So here you have the body, which will be the main content of the email. I have an image and a kind of title at the beginning, and that's it. You have a method which is get newsletter context, and it was different from get context. In that case, since I made a dedicated page for newsletter, see, the get context just reuses the newsletter context, but it could be useful depending on your use case to have two very different methods for that. And what do I do in my context? I add the color of the number of the issue for English, sorry. This is it. This was the most interesting part of the method. And here I had to cheat a little bit, but it's a spoiler for the next part. So let's talk about it later. So what does it look like in admin? So I kind of don't see my tab bar. Here it is. So this is the admin of my dev environment, because I will not be sending actual newsletter right now. So you're supposed to choose an issue and to add a subpage in it. And I don't see the button because of Zoom artifacts. So here I add a subpage, I add a newsletter, and I can type something. Tag. No image. In the email, I have quite simple content, title, content, and images. So the documentation which is provided is really complete. So it was really nice to work with that documentation and with the module. It was easy to use. And when I save, I did not anticipate that thing. What is cool is that you can preview your newsletter. This number is pink, so the newsletter is pink too. You can preview in web. So it works. And now I want to send my campaign. I'll just send a test email. Do I have? I don't. I don't have it. I have a test email client, but it doesn't work right now. So let's go to the next. So believe me, it works. Yeah. Then adding a backend. So the backend is a part of the code that does the actual sending of the newsletter, being actually sending an email in my case, or making API calls to MailChimp or whatever vendor you are using. And I'm going to go back to dive in the code again. So you have to add some classes. First, I thought I would just need to add a backend and a recipient. And in fact, I had to add a campaign too as a simple Django model. So I began with the backend, Sympa backend. And I had no idea what to do with it. So I just clicked and went to read the source of the module, and I didn't get it. So I went to read the existing MailChimp backend. So I understood that the MailChimp backend is a wrapper around the API client. So you can, for example, deal with audiences. You have the notion of campaign, which is not saved in Wagtail, but in MailChimp. And then the idea of campaign isn't the same at all in Sympa, because in Sympa you don't have campaigns. You just send an email to a given list. So my backend was way simpler. So I had to cheat a little bit to hide buttons that were not useful for Sympa, or to just send the email. So now I can go back to my backend. So the expected method save campaign is just a save in Django way. You can send a campaign and send a test email, which is the same thing like send an email. I had to twist something. Yeah. I just had the HTML version of the message. But to send an email with Django, you need a text version of your message. And at that point, I had no access to the page object. So I made something a little bit ugly, but it worked. So I will show you. Here is the part of the code I like to write. See, I don't know what an audience is, but I know I don't need it in Sympa. So I just return an empty list, or I just do absolutely nothing. And that's okay, it worked. Now I will show you this get text alternative. I'm not really proud of it, and it works. I've written it like yesterday evening, yes, that night. So at the beginning, I just made a strip tags to get the text message from the HTML, but I had a whole text without space. So I just replaced ending tags with new lines and some decoration. So I was like it works. And what did I want to show you? Then the Sympa recipient is just an email address. The audience that was mandatory in the base package, I made it allowed to be blank, and I will add some functionality because sometimes you cannot send, you must change sender email in some cases, but it's for later. So this is what my backend looks like. It was nice to write. And at the end, I had to write some HTML for emails, which is like a dog version of HTML. So the newsletter package was provided with mjml. I did never write this kind of things, but it's quite cool. You write something in XML, which is compiled into good-looking HTML for email clients. But I have kind of mixed feelings because in the end you get like table soup. Well, it works, and maybe my code was worse, I don't know. So here it is. It's 20 minutes already, so I jump to the conclusion. So this Sympa newsletter package, it works since last night because I proposed the conference before I finished my development, which was an interesting experience. It was fun to write, and it was quite easy because documentation is cool. I have seen some fixes that I need from my customers, for my clients. So I will do a contribution to add the translations and the fixes and make it work well in Outlook because it's not perfect yet. This is it. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you, Agnes. Once
Thank
again,
you.
we do have a couple questions here in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and ask those. The first question is Sympa hard to set up? Any big advantages over third-party websites like MailChimp if you only do this once in a blue moon?
So I am not an ops at all, but I think it's quite okay to set up because you have a lot of third-party websites which propose Sympa service. See, even if you don't want to set it up yourself, you can use a provided installation by some hosting services. And I know some people who have a Sympa server. A lot of organizations, like associations, do have Sympa servers, and it seems okay. But I'm not the one who can tell you it's easy or not, because I'm just a user in the story.
Great, thank you. I have another question here in the chat. And just a reminder, if you do want to ask a question, please go ahead and type it into the chat. And also, you could ask in the lobby later on. So the next question is from Thibaut, and he said, I'd love to ask about opportunities to update the Wagtail newsletter package. Have you used that package, or would you have any thoughts on integrating Sympa with it?
I can open source my backend once it's a little bit more polished. And once I'm finished giving one conference every 2 weeks.
Mhm. Okay, and we have another question here from Emma. In terms of email analytics, is your client getting those via the website, the third party email client, or Sympa itself?
I'm not sure Sympa is doing email analytics. It says if you have bounces, you can know it, but you have no easy. So let me. So Sympa tells you if you have bounces. It deals with it. It's its job, and it does it very well. If you want to know if your email was open, you should add your tracking in the content, in the email content, but you won't have necessarily or opening because sometimes people do not download distant data and so on. So Sympa does not the tracking of opening emails, but it will deal with the mailing list and it will do it well.
Okay. Yeah, very, very good. Thank you. Very useful
Pleasure.
information. Thanks again, Agnes, and we will see you around in the lobby, and we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and end this session a couple minutes early. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.